Saw you sitting in the pickup, dawn on your denim knees. Swamp sweat and shotgun shells, crumpled cans at your feet. Dust rising up from the red clay cut, boots scraping the chrome. Never asked for rescuing, never once called it home. Stacking spare parts scattered in the weeds, gravel in your voice when you call out to me. Learning how to fix what nobody else can mend, saying give it a whirl, it ain't the world's end. Dark tape promises, hold it tight, every hope and scar, hammering out a life, make it right even when it falls apart. You keep edge of the pain like it's just another car in the yard. Corner store confessions, big laughs in a broke down chair, saying winning ain't love, just too stubborn to care. Teaching what's needed, it ain't earned in some book. But shake off the shame, take another hard look. Don't take promises, hold it tight, every hope and scar, hammering out a life, make it right even when it falls apart. You keep passing the pain like it's just another car in the yard. See the stubborn fire, still hear my name. Nights run like thunder, mornings bad as they get. But you taught me not to drown, even soaked in regret. Don't take promises, holding tight, every hope and scar, hammering out a life will make it right even when it falls apart. The pain like it's just another car in the yard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. One more day in the dust, road runs like a river water, red clay and rust.
Cracks dry, earth wide, hot stares from fence line cows. Pickup rattles off my shirt, dust gnaws at the corners of my mind, gravel in my eyes, wind in my teeth, too many empty signs, nowhere feels neat. Gravel in my eyes. June bugs thump on the windshield glass, dogs lays beneath porch shade, signs nailed crooked, unread words, chew on thought like a blade. Gravel in my eyes, wind in my teeth, too many empty signs, taste, sweet heat. Gravel in my eyes, wind in my teeth. Nowhere to feel the ride, miles underneath. Gravel in my eyes, glitter in my eyes. Cicadas tuning up what's on. Down like the law on my back, tires spinning circles, cutting up the track. Boots on the dash, every mile's just a dare. Feels like the highway wants to swallow me there. Got sweat on my brow and the day on my skin. Trouble rolls in just like an old friend. Dust in my teeth and can't shake that feeling. Rolling and reeling, dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth, it keeps coming back. Riding this path, dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth. Wet clay crumbles, filling up my lungs. Moving through the quiet where the wild things run. I laugh at the thunder, spit at the rain. No matter how far I go, the dirt stays the same. Wind whips harder, sky gets wide, but everywhere I go, can't leave it behind. Dust in my teeth, can't shake that feeling. And rolling and reeling, and dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth, tastes like the road, never alone. Dust in my teeth. Escape on these winding lines. Every song I sing tastes of county lines. I chew on the miles, grit in my smile. Dust in my teeth, always worth a while. Dust in my teeth, can't shake that feeling. Rolling and reeling, dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth, it's always the same. Running through veins, dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth. Dust in my teeth.
Broken bottles on the porch, Daddy's dead, collector's back. Mama's crying in the kitchen, bills been stacking, roof been cracking. Devil's deal done made me desperate. Dirty money, dirty hands. Been digging deeper, always deeper in this backwoods sinking sand. Got the devil in the dust, devil in the dust. When your back's against the broken fence and you ain't got nobody's trust. Got the devil in the dust, devil in the dust. Selling soul for supper money. Got the devil in the dust. Pickup truck ain't worth a quarter. Sheriff's badge been asking questions. Sunday sermon feels like lying when you're dancing with temptation. Mama raised me right and righteous, but these times been testing faith. Been borrowing from borrowed time, and the interest rate's too late. Got the devil in the dust, devil in the dust. When your back's against the broken fence and you ain't got nobody's trust. Got the devil in the dust, got the devil in the dust. Selling soul for supper money. Got the started small, run and shine just to survive it all. Now I'm deep, can't retreat. Devil's dancing to my heartbeat. Got the devil in the dust, devil in the dust. Oh, yeah. When your family's counting on you and you ain't got nobody's trust. Got the devil in the dust, devil in the dust. Oh. Blood and sweat ain't paying nothing. Got the devil in the dust. Got the devil. Yeah, the devil in the dust. Devil's dancing in the dust. Sun's barely rising, my boots on the step. Coffee's gone cold and I'm shaking my head. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You're sitting across from me, hat pulled down low. You ain't saying much, but I still know. I keep sitting by my enemy, sitting by my enemy, sitting by my enemy, just sitting. Crawl on, we don't talk too loud. You tap on your table, just staring me down. Oh yeah, trouble hangs around like smoke in the air. But I ain't moving, I just sit right there. I keep sitting by my enemy, sitting by my enemy, sitting by my enemy, just sitting by my enemy, sitting by enemy, sitting by my enemy, sitting by my enemy. That's where I'm gonna be. We don't look away.
Sitting on this splintered porch, clouds rolling in slow. Got a cracked bread cooler, crickets chirping solo. Dusty boots on planks, tapping in time. But I won't say what's weighing heavy on my mind. Where's that old fire I used to light? Where's that old fire I used to light?
Where's that old fire? Where's that old fire?
Every long, lonesome night, where's that old fire I used to light? Windows rattle, there's a whisper of rain. Remember wrangling thunder, wild and untamed. Now the sparkling shines, faded right off the glass. Did I run too slow or just let it slip past? Where's that old fire I used to light? Where's that old fire I used to light?
Where's that old fire?
Every long, lonesome night, where's that old fire I used to light? Military toe tapping, time ticking by. Why the wild wind wonder why the flame run dry? Is it gone? Is it gone? Is it gone? It gone? It gone?
Stop, clap, stop, clap. Hey!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Won't whisper a whiskey, won't beg the old moon. Just crack knuckles, wait for that thunder boom. If you find my spark, send it rolling on back like a runaway train jumping on railroad tracks. Where's that old fire I used to light? Where's that old fire I used to light? Where's that old fire? Every long, lonesome night, where's that old fire I used to light? Every long, lonesome night, where's that old fire I
rail yard, dust on the sign. Some bleached lanes where our worlds collide. You remember that turn down Greasewood Road where the gravel spit back and the headlights glowed. We ran our mouths like engines over pothole, prayers tangled up tight in the midnight air. When the whistle warnings through the busted fence, booth wheels beat a rhythm rough and intense. Smoked out summer cut off cutthroat heat. Crickets keeping time as my words repeat. Told you the truth but you never believed. Wasn't just gas and cigarettes up my sleeve. This piece of the map, my patch, my pride. Stand me here or run and hide. Raise your voice, rumble, rattle these bones. Hard luck highways, heavy as stones. Tonight it's just us, no one else to blame. Dare in the dark out past the county lane. Bits of broken bottle glint in the clay. Laugh until midnight washed us both away. Fence post promises clinging to sweat. Skynyrd on the dash, no regrets. Swore you'd always come back to this dirt. Scrapes on your knuckles, smile under your shirt. Every old grudge deep as a scar writing this line neath a jealous star. Told you the truth but you never believed. This grease and grit that we can't just leave. This corner is stubborn and born to fight, leaning to me in the dying light. Raise your voice, we'll rattle these bones. Hard luck highways, heavy as stones. Tonight it's just us, no one else to blame. Dare in the dark out past the county lane. So holler if you feel it, spit in the sand. You cuss out the future, you grip my hand. Every cracked window, every split rail wrote us a story, how and we had. Raise your voice, rumble, rattle these bones. Hard luck highways, heavy as stones. Tonight it's just us, no one else to blame. Dare in the dark out past the county lane. Just in the headlights, hearts thick with pride. Still spinning wheels down Greasewood Road tonight. You and me, two old dogs on the porch, spitting grit under this faded torch. You call me out with that crooked grin. Same old dirt, we just dig right in. Ash on our boots, tempers running hot, still running circles in the same damn lot. Laugh it slow, but it lands right back. I bite my tongue so it won't snap. We ain't friends, we just ain't gone. Nothing left but carrying on. Say what you want, I've heard it all before. Throw your stone, your song, I built with them 4x4. Truth comes out when the dust falls still. You get yours, boy, and I'll get my fill. Rusted tailgate, sparks flying fast. Words like whiskey rough and never last. You nudge that line, I tow it just so. Battle scars showing what you already know. Sun bleeding low behind the trees. Ain't no changing you, won't be changing me. Spit flies, but we stand our ground. dust falls still. You get yours, boy, and I get my fill. Every scar's a handshake, each word a dare. Love and hate tangled up in the smoke-filled air. Get my fill, yeah, I get my fill. Spitting great, and I'll get my fill. baked on my boots, yeah. Pickup cabs rattling loose. A hot sun, sweat on my brow, pouring it out, but I ain't slowing down. Neighbor's dog always barking at dawn. Cracked front porch, my chicken all wrong. Ain't fancy, can't complain. Still pushing through another day. Mud on my boots, can't shake it loose. Growling roads, stomping on through. Holler my pride, yell at the sky. Still grinding, nothing new. Mud on my boots, and not on you. Town, big mouth talk, let them howl. Flags waving over these fields I plow. Window cracks, stale radio tunes. Cussing the clouds, but I ain't making room. Tractors broke down, parts on the floor. Engines whining, same old chore. Break my back, what else to do? Hang my head, tie my shit. Mud on my boots, can't shake it loose. Growling road, stomping on through. Holler my pride, yell at the sky. Still grinding, nothing new. But on my boots, not on you. For pity, I just wanna lie. Friday night bonfire, sparks burning bright. But the week keeps dragging me back to the fight. Still got some cuss left in me tonight. Mud on my boots, can't shake it loose. Growling road, stomping on through. Holler my pride, yell at the sky. Outside my old man's fence, dust kicks off boots, sun is sinking again. Mailbox rusted, faded paint on the gate. Chilly evening air, slow like the way we used to wait. Driveway winding, I catch headlights bend. Laugh lines deep, here comes my oldest friend. Handshakes tighten, I pause before a grin. Two worn out faces trying to let the good times in. Back where the gravel runs, barbecue smoke, cooled by the setting sun. We don't talk much, let silence fill in. Sitting there coming home again. Feels like coming home again. Up window, stray a hound on the porch. Remember teenage trouble, daylight always too short. Brown bottle clanks, same jokes we never finish. Whole world changed, but something in us didn't. Fireflies flicker, you're not down the hill. Trade quiet looks, no need to chase the thrill. Say you stick around, got nothing left to chase. Guess we're both settling into this familiar place. Back where the gravel road runs, barbecue smoke, cooled by the setting sun. We don't talk much, let silence
coming home again. Feels like coming home again. Don't gotta say what's long gone. We just breathe in the night, let it carry us on. Barbecue smoke, cool by the second ton. We don't talk much, let silence fill in. We're sitting here together, feels like coming home again. Empty, rest, chairs out back, feels like coming home again. Yeah, feels like coming home again. Oh yeah. Come on! Hey darling, let me tell you what it's like out here where the muddy river churns all night. Tailgate down and I got nothing to prove, just a cold beer sweat and a hell-bent groove. It's fists in the air, boots in the red clay, gasoline dreams burning brighter than day. You look at me grinning, saying what you wanna do. I say let's light it up, break every damn rule. We're gonna raise hell tonight, let it all ignite. No suit and tie, just wild in our eyes. We're shouting, oh, beneath these southern skies. So come and raise hell tonight. You dancing where the fireflies spin, dust in your hair, whiskey on your skin. You laugh out loud and it cuts through the dark like a hot steel pulse right into my heart. Crank up the Skynyrd, let the speakers bleed. Life's just a game for the rowdy and free. You lean in close, whisper, let's push it too far. We'll drive that old Chevy straight through every bar. Gonna raise hell tonight, let it all ignite. Fancy, but it feels so right. Just me and you, and the stars burning bright. Let the haters talk, let them roll their eyes, 'cause we built our glory on the county line. We're gonna raise hell tonight, let it all ignite. No suit and tie, just wild in our eyes. We're shouting no. Raise hell tonight.
Bye.